I paid attention to that we had Josh Motsinger and Isaiah Monroe who just fought each other on that show. And I'm looking around and I'm seeing other names pop up, and I'm thinking, okay, so Fury Fighting is calling the North Carolina guys for some reason, whatever reason. They're calling the North Carolina guys. And so to me, that means the circuit is calling for your talents, calling for your skills. That means be ready. Start matching the level of what's on that circuit. One of the things I like to do is I'll watch fights even if I don't have a fighter in that weight class, even if I don't have a fighter of that gender, even if I don't have a fighter that will take on that particular opponent. I will watch that fighter or that gym just based on the industry itself. We want to know the level of what our current industry is, our current circuit, because if we're fighting at a higher level, UFC level or whatever, but we're not performing at that level. So what I mean is our overall fight teams are fighting at that level, but your particular fight team is not matching that, then there's something missing. There's something you need to do to raise your level, to get to that level, to help push the industry up. Yeah, I get it. Win, win, win. I want to win. I want to be the best. But if you start reframing the way you think in terms of what can I do to help elevate the industry, the circuit, it'll probably put me closer to the top when it comes to skill. If you only just think about yourself and your wins, then you tend to only measure things by yourself. But if you kind of look at where the industry is going, where the circuit is going, compared to other circuits, say in the Northeast, since we're in the South, or the Northwest, or Central states, and things of that nature, if you pay attention to that and realize that's where the level is, you'll by default raise your personal level and assist raising the level of the overall industry. So, or the overall circuit that we're in. So I like to look at that, and I look at Fighting Fury, Fury Fighting, and I'm like, okay, they've got guys who commentate, and those guys are in the UFC. Apparently, guys that are what's the Lopez getting ready to fight Volkanovski. Apparently, he's a product of this show. So that tells you if this is the product they're putting out, and they're calling guys from outside of the circuit. And I'm not talking about just calling anybody to get beat. They're calling good guys who have good records. They're calling guys who potentially could be in the UFC. I think I know why. The key is they're calling people because they want to become that feeder system. We know LFA is that feeder system to the UFC. I think Fury Fighting is trying to be that next feeder system. And the reason you want to do that is because it will put you in good standing with the audience long term, so that if you take your license and you leave the UFC the way Invicta did, Invicta left the platform, and Invicta kind of stands alone. Invicta does only women, but they haven't died off. They haven't starved to death. They're still able to perform well, generate revenue, and mostly it's because they're attracting the women, and they still probably, even though they're not on the platform anymore, they still probably feed women to the UFC.